Friends, how are you doing on this glorious Sunday, March 23rd? Tomorrow is Monday. Market will be kicking it back up. Here we go. I want to talk about SoFi a little bit. Not too much because I've already talked so much about SoFi, but you guys seem to like when I yap my mouth about SoFi. And just a little more about Rklb. Rklb is one of those stocks that I'm so just... It's such a curious company, such an interesting company, such an interesting stock. It's very futuristic stock, and I think that's what's so interesting. But I like risky things. I like different things in the market, and Rklb is 100% that kind of stock. So it's Sunday. I hope you're all well. I hope you've all had a good day. It's been a busy day for many of us, I know, and I don't want to keep you long here, so I will try to shut up, but as fast as I can. But let's just talk a little bit here. So going right into Rklb. So Rklb, obviously, you have SpaceX and you have Blue Origin. SpaceX and Blue Origin, and those are two companies that are private companies. You cannot put your money into them as of yet. But both these companies, SpaceX obviously trying to get people to the base to the moon, civilization on Mars within the next handful of years. Blue Origin they just announced they're going to make a space station in space where people can go there, resort there, crazy stuff. So obviously these companies are going to start taking in, Blue Origin more than not will start taking in money, but I believe too with that, I think there is a future where both those companies become public traded companies. Maybe Blue Origin I could see sooner than SpaceX. SpaceX is a little more messy when it comes to that conversation because they're wrapped up in NASA, government. It's a little, I don't know. A lot of people think so, but it's a little more messy, there's a lot more hands in the pie already. With that conversation, you've got Rklb here, who is a company, that is heavily involved already with the military, the government, SpaceX in general, and who has achieved some pretty decent quarterlies. Now, obviously, their last quarterly, it was a good quarterly, obviously. I mean, they were under $150 million, which is a ton of money. Now, Rklb here is moving very aggressively when we talk about stocks, when we talk about chart here. Rklb just, back in October was an $11 stock, and before that, it wasn't really much more than that. It was just a thought, it was a theory of what it could be, and then they started to pick up contracts, and then they got one huge contract with the government, which was in November for that $32 million Space Force contract. So that right there really shot the stock. And obviously we're looking at, what we need to really focus on too is with Rklb is a situation of, obviously the market has fallen here. It's taking damage. And more than not, if we didn't have this pullback in the market, Rklb undoubtedly would probably still be in this mid-range $20 zone, okay? But, the market is trailing off here, and the market obviously is starting to show some support here again, but we're going to see here, there's things coming up in April that could surface, that could be bad for the market, but we'll see. I don't want to, put fear out there that's not there yet. What we have right now is Rklb a opportunity. Is this a good place to buy in right now with Rklb? You have to really think outside the box here with Rklb. You have to go and I think I made a video about this 3-4 years ago where I was like, the next big investment opportunity are mining companies in space, space tours, things like that, just things to do with space. And you saw things like that. Virgin Galactic has taken numerous amounts of damage, money, funding. I mean, it's a messy situation over there, and they're looking for... Now, will that continue over there? I don't know. I'm not even talking about Blue Origin right now. That is something I'm staying clear away from. But the reason why I think a lot of us like Rklb is because Rklb is making the cocoa. They're not dealing with, people going to space. They're not dealing with funds here, there, wishy-washy stuff. We're dealing with a company that is making essentially what they say they are, rockets. They're making a lot. They're making a lot here. But they're also producing heavily quarterlies. I think a lot of the question is can they keep producing these massive amounts of contracts in these quarterlies? Because we kind of already know in a ballpark roundabout, expectation of what they've got. We've seen the contracts, and the question is how much more, how many more contracts can they outsource to continue these heavy quarterlies? I think that's really going to be determined. I think 2025 here is really going to be the determination year of what is coming here with Rocket Lab. Can it support these big quarterlies? I mean, honestly, there's no reason to say that Rocket Lab could not, if we get a support in the market right now, there's no reason that Rocket Lab wouldn't go back up to like almost this $30, $40 range here just because of these heavy contracts. When Q1, Q2 rolls around here for 2025, they're going to be very telling of what is coming the rest of the year. And we should start to see a lot of these contracts start compounding on top of each other, where we're seeing some pretty heavy contracts. I mean, their last contract was really big, and the next one should probably be just as big, if not bigger. So can it be 140 million? It could be. More than likely should be. But I think too, you have to think about what is the future of Rocket Lab. I think heavily that, investing in things that have to do with space, as goofy and maybe stupid as that sounds to some people, where they're like, I can't even put my head around that right now. This is not for me. I totally get that 100%. Like, I'm not sitting here, blaming anybody for thinking that. But I do think that we are in such at least a cycle of information right now, a cycle of at least these next 4 years, where there will be some sort of space travel exploration happening to where Rocket Lab will be able to continue in this zone of heavy earning. So the question is, like I said, can they keep producing these earnings? Can they keep getting these contracts? How long will they, be able to keep pushing these heavy quarterlies? Well, if this space talk keeps continuing, I think you're going to see a lot more of these space companies partner with one another. They're going to have to, in a way. I think you're going to see a day where Blue Origin, SpaceX, all these guys, and there's more space like there's not just these. There's other space like much littler players out there that are all working together. So, I like Rocket Lab, but my main thing right now, and I've said this in the past, after April here, I'm really going to feel more comfortable in the market. I want to see what the beginning of April is going to bring here with this consumer, within the inflation of these tariffs, all this kind of stuff. What's going to come out here report-wise? Is Trump going to be, like he said, not as pushy on the tariffs? Is he going to pull back a little bit? Is he not going to? Is he wanting the market to crash more? Is he not wanting it to? Does he care? Not care? Short term, long term? So my thing right now, and I've even told this, friends that I talk to, that we all relay information back and forth to when it comes to investing, is I think a lot of people right now are just making piggy banks. We're making piggy banks to see what happens here in April. Even Tom Lee came out yesterday and he was like, you know what? The market may just be okay. The market may just go like, tariffs, we'll deal with it. We're dealing with it. And, because we're seeing companies still produce heavy quarterlies. We're seeing the demand for AI, the demand for chips, the demand for resources, the demand for gas, the demand for rockets, the demand for planes, automobiles. Like, it's all still heavily there. So, the market may just go like, we don't care. So Rocket Lab is a very appealing company to me and I don't even think Rocket Lab is a situation of like, it's going to make you a multimillionaire this year. I think it's something that I'm looking like a decade from now. What does Rocket Lab look like a decade from now? Really think about that. Think about, like, are we going to be in space? Are we going to have space stations? Civilizations on Mars, the moon, maybe somewhere. Like, really, I know it sounds crazy. I know this. I know that. Think of 10, 15 years ago when people, 10 years ago when people were talking about Tesla, talking about electric cars. People are like, this is never going to freaking work. What are you, crazy? I'm not giving that company a dime. I mean, these are as crazy as things may be in the market, you have to look at them and go like, what outweighs the negative to the positive of the long-term investment that we could do in this? So could Rocket Lab be a $100 stock here in the near future? Of course it could. I think Rocket Lab could easily just get into a stupid space of just FOMO and run up to, almost $100. But right now, the main thing that's hard to say about that is market support. Is market going to support the stock market going back up and getting into, aggressive earnings again here, aggressive pull up, and the earnings will show themselves here in May, because May is going to bring a whole lot of earnings. We're going to know one way or another which way this market's going, and I think your stocks are going to follow suit with that. So Rocket Lab, I think it's a very interesting investment. I know a lot of you guys are already in it and made a ton of money, and that's awesome. I like Rocket Lab a lot. I'm watching it heavily. I think I just love the company in general. I think it's so interesting. I love nerd stuff. I love this kind of stuff. So, and two, like if Rocket Lab gets a continuation or a compounding contract on what they've already got with the government, it's a wash, man. This stock is going to go freaking nuts. I mean, it's just going to be like free money at the end of the day. I mean, they're just going to blow up. And just to talk about SoFi, friends, I still stand by this right now, and I don't think there's anybody really on YouTube in my circle of people that I talk to, a lot of people that can honestly say about SoFi that it is a bad investment. I don't really think that's being talked about right now, because the quarterlies are showing something else. SoFi is getting aggressive deals right now. There's a whole lot of stuff going on with SoFi, and it's not really bad stuff. It's very good, positive movement in SoFi. So I think SoFi, and I've said this, I think it's one of the biggest opportunities for investors right now in the market, where there's just a lot of heavy meat left on the bone. And I think SoFi has a lot I think this is going to be such a growth year for SoFi. I think this year, undoubtedly, and I don't think a lot of people may disagree with this, is that SoFi, this is the year where it breaks into billion-dollar quarterlies, okay? So I think that is where we're at right now with SoFi, where we're going to see SoFi really just become an aggressive company, be the predator. And that's amazing when you can buy a company, a stock right now, to where it's so affordable to the general population of investors, to where this could really change their life, because it's so cheap right now to where everyone can afford it, to where it could really turn into like, oh my God, like in the near future, where this is such a golden opportunity for investors. So, I'll go over a chart with SoFi, but I don't go over charts a lot of time, because charts are charts. And I think news is so much more fundamentally important than charts, because I'm not. Listen, I will short trade. I don't really day trade. I will short trade, but I will long trade. I'm long trader first and foremost, and looking for key investments that bring golden opportunity in the long run. But two, if I see swing trades, short trades, swing trades, I will obviously push into them. You can see things coming up, earnings, if you follow earnings, all that kind of stuff. But SoFi to me right now is like just collecting gold, just collecting as much of it as you can for the future of what it's going to bring here. So SoFi right now being such an affordable stock at $12, under $13 still, what do we know SoFi can get to? We know SoFi can pretty much get to $18, okay? In the past, before, back in COVID days, SoFi was at over $20 stock, but those were the COVID days. Those were the days when SoFi was pretty much, not even what it is today. It was a completely different company, ran different, was nothing as what it was today. And then, back in 2021, SoFi just completely lost everything they had, went into like a $4 to $5 stock. $6 was like, woo, it's a good day. And now we've seen just in those years up until, the past year here, we've seen the fundamental foundation of SoFi be completely changed around, where the CEO is pushing here, the fundamentals are changing, they are grabbing the whole new culture, the younger generation, and guess what? I've said this before. I know I sound like a broken record, but friends, you have to think about this. It's just like the rocket stuff. It's just like thinking about what is the future going to look like? What is the younger generation, what are they doing right now with their money? They're getting into slick new banks. And SoFi is that slick new bank. SoFi is going after the younger generation, and they are proving it. Every time they come up with the quarterlies, they're showing, hey, we've got all these new account members. We've got all these new savings accounts, checkings accounts for these younger kids. And what are these younger kids going to be doing in the future? They're going to be buying cars, houses, loans, personal loans, business loans, credit cards, savings accounts, bonds, stocks. You can buy stocks, for God's sakes, with SoFi, just opening a simple bank account. There's things I'm not even mentioning. There's all kinds of things SoFi offers to just anyone for free that opens a freaking account and is willing just to put, just to bank with them. I think SoFi is just fundamentally, it's just such more of an advanced banking system. There is and I say this too, if you invest in SoFi heavily, if you make a SoFi account, you don't have to put money into it. You can just make a SoFi banking account. It's free. But when you do that, you will understand mentally, as an investor, as someone who believes in SoFi, watching why SoFi is growing so heavily, killing it in quarterlies, killing it with new customers, you will see fundamentally the dynamics of why SoFi is achieving what it's achieving, because what they offer just to anyone is so slick, so clean, so amazing. And then you look at your other banks. I don't want to name banks because I don't want to cause trouble here. But the big ones out there, the B's, the Wells, all those kind of stuff. They can't hold a light to what SoFi is offering people right now. It's remarkable what SoFi is offering. So friends, I hope I wasn't too long. I told you guys I didn't want to yap here too much. But friends, I'm gonna shout out. Listen, it's Sunday. Enjoy your life, enjoy your family, your kids. Monday, we will be back into what's going on here very shortly. And I just want to thank all of you guys for listening to me yap. I really do appreciate you. And I really do wish everyone the best of luck in the market, man. I want to see everyone just hit the well in the market. Everyone should be able to drink from this fountain. The market is such an opportunity for people to change their life. I really do mean that. It's just one of the most amazing things that anyone can do if they just take a little bit of time out of their day just to keep track of what's going on, become a little obsessed with something in the market, and watch how things flow in and out of the market, and just how a lot of it's just a creature of habit with how news flows and gives and takes. So, friends, I wish all of you the best of luck, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye, everyone.